217, 3, and 4, and they're throwing you a curveball right away because they have not set this up as y equals mx plus b. So I don't plan on giving you a negative on your quiz, but I'm going to have you divide through by a negative and show you this exception to the rule for inequalities. When you divide an inequality by a negative number, it kind of messes with the inequality. And so if you divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality symbol. So I'm not going to throw you that curveball on your quiz on Friday. I'll just have you divide by positive numbers. But if I'm going to rewrite this, it's y is greater than negative 2x minus 4. So, like I said, this is a curveball for inequalities, and we're not spending enough time for me to assess you on this little curveball. But when you divide an inequality by a negative number, the negative flips the direction of the line. So therefore, your inequality symbol has to flip which region you're shading. That's the reason why. All right, so then what do I do next? Okay, so how do I know if it's a dotted or solid line for my quiz? What does this symbol tell me? It means that it's just above the line. It doesn't include the line because there would be an equal sign. So I'm going to do a dotted line. All right, and I'm going to graph the line y equals negative 2x minus 4. So we practiced yesterday graphing these lines. I'm going to start at negative 4 on the y-axis, and my slope is down 2 over 1, up 2 over 1 in this direction. So it's going to be a dotted line that has a negative slope. Are you with me on that? So you graph it like it's a line. Then we said it was dotted, and we have to decide if we're going to shade above or below the line. And when I read this, it says y is greater than. So which y values are greater? The ones up here, right? I'd rather get paid $8 or $10 an hour than negative $8 an hour, whatever. So they're greater up here. So this whole region is part of the solution region. For those of you that weren't here, yesterday we talked about the Freiburg Fair. If you're paying $5 a ride and you have $50, you could ride 10 rides or you could ride 2 rides. You'd have enough money. You would not have enough money to ride 15 rides unless it's a bracelet day. So this is a solution of different possibilities. All right, so now I've got to do step 2. I'm going to graph mine in a different color just so you can see the difference. How do I graph y equals 1/3 x? So what's the y-intercept if there is no y-intercept? Yep. And is this going to be a dotted or solid line? Again, it just says strictly greater than, so dotted line. There's no equal to symbol. All of these are going to be dotted actually in 3 and 4. The symbol up here, this greater than or equal to symbol, we did a solid line on number 2. All right. Next, I graph 1/3 as my slope. So I start at 0, 0, and I go up 1 over 3, down 1 over 3, dotted red line. And I have to decide if I'm going to shade that above or below. And it says y is greater than. So if it's y is greater than, where are the y values bigger? Aren't they bigger up here? Where are the y values bigger? I want to eat, right? The shark's mouth wants to eat the bigger value. The y values are bigger. So I'm going to shade in the upwards direction. That's okay. They might have marked. All right, so this is my solution region. It's where the red and the black overlap. So you just practice graphing 2 inequalities and shading the solution region. That's the hardest you'll have to do on the quiz on Friday. So on Friday, you have to graph some single inequalities. Some you might have to like Like on example 4 over here, we're going to divide by 2. So you might have to do like a dividing by 2 step. I'm not going to do the negative dividing by on the quiz. All right, graph these last two, and then we will take a walk. How do I graph y equals 4x minus 1? Yep. 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 And make sure it's a positive slope. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So it should be a solid dotted line, right? Because it's a strictly less than or strictly greater than symbol. Where should I shade? It says y is y bigger or y smaller than the line? Y is smaller. See how the shark's mouth wants to eat the line? So the y values are smaller than the line itself. So where are the y values smaller? Down here. So I read the inequality. Y is less than the line. So here's y is less than down here. And if you go through and do homework 2-6, it'll help you practice and you'll know tomorrow what you know or don't know. All right, so the last part, we're going to go through and get y by itself by dividing by positive 2, so I don't have to flip the sign. Y is greater than 4x plus 3. So I'm going to do a dotted line, right? This greater than, strictly greater than symbol. I'm going to start at 3 on the y-axis and go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. These lines are going to be really close to each other, but they're a special pair of lines. What kind of lines are these? Yes, so what are their slopes? 4x, 4x. What do we know about parallel lines? They never intersect. And guess what? I'm shading above the red line. So will there ever be a solution region of overlap? No. So we need to conclude there is no solution because there will never be an overlapping region. So that's something that kind of pulls together the unit we just learned about parallel lines with some inequality work.